Yeah, Taj Dragon is looking good. He's only small. He's very small, but he's very fluent in his walking action and really quite healthy in his coat. He's been in here quite some time and kept his cool. Jantor Mantor has behaved pretty well. He's keen and eager with his handlers, but he hasn't done much wrong. Strong-bodied and a really good shoulder on him as well, so he looks good. Do I need to go on there?
No, we've just had, of course, Jantar Manta, and the next runner, Nick, we've got is Lizette for Jerome Renier.
Yeah, first time Christian Jamiro has ridden this horse. As I said, he's come a very long way in a very short space of time, and it's a question of whether he's got one final hurrah this season. He's a young horse with plenty to offer, I think, next year. Very impressed with how relaxed he is, though, Jenny.
Yeah, now, this is the first time I've laid eyes on him. He's just about to come around this corner, so I'll get a better look. I like the colour coordination with his trainer. He's got a really strong shoulder on him. He's only a 3-year-old. He's a lovely athletic horse. He's got a great way about him. Walks out nice and freely too. He looks good. I would certainly give him consideration.
And that last horse we've got on screen is Ramadan Jin. He's not a big imposing specimen, only 992 pounds, of course, now raced by Yulong Mr. Zhang, and he is going to stay here with Mark Newnham after today. He's a greater than 50-1 shot.
Well, the big query with him is the dry track that we have, because all his racing has been on rain affected. But who knows, he might even be better. He looks nice and healthy. He does walk out freely enough. Neat type of horse. Attitude is good. Looks fit enough. Actually parades really quite nicely. So I'm going to respect him too.
Jantar Manta, the best turned out horse here, so well done to Connections with that. Let's head over to Nick Child, who's standing by with the trainer of Lizette. It's Jerome Renier.
Yes, thank you very much, Tom. Pleased to say Jerome Renier has joined me here. He saddles Lizette for the Hong Kong Mile this year. Jerome, great to see you and your horse here, and a Group 1 winner of the Morris de Geese. You must be excited.
Yeah, sure. No, it's very good to be here today after a long journey in Australia, in Sydney, where Lazat ran a hell of a race. We are very happy with the way he ran and the way he recovered from this race, and we always thought that was a good move to make a stop in Hong Kong on the way back if he was feeling well, and we're very happy with him in the morning. He looks great today, and we're quite hopeful. Obviously, Christian is going to ride him for the first time, and he's going to run over 1 mile for the first time as well. He's running in a race that European haven't been so successful. The 3-year-olds haven't been so successful either. So we are totally against the odds, but we never know what can happen. Huh?
Well, just to counteract that, a 3-year-old did win it, I think, in 2019, so it's not unheard of. Christian, of course, has been announced as a new jockey for Norland Bizakov, so going forward, obviously, he'll be sporting these colours a bit more often.
Yeah, no, sure. I mean, Christian rides quite often back in France for me, and we get on really well together, and I'm very happy to see him on board today.
Jerome, obviously, you'll be a familiar name to many, perhaps not to so many in here in Hong Kong, but horses like Royal Julius, Factor Chevelle, you're never afraid to travel them.
No, sure, and Scaletti came here a few years ago as well. Wasn't so lucky, but you have to give it a go. 100% of winners have given a go, so that's why we're here today. Try to step on the first step of the podium, and hopefully he will be able to do a 1 mile, and the race program next year as a 4-year-old will be easier to make up.
Well, we wish you very, very best of luck here, and I'll let you go and get to your vantage point to watch the race. Thanks for chatting to us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick, and thank you to Jerome for giving us his time here on the telecast. Ginny, a fine assembled here for the mile and open field. Who's on top from the paddock?
Well, that horse we just were talking about, number 13, Lizette, arguably should be unbeaten. Oh, gee, he looks fantastic. He really does. Really fit. Behaved himself nicely. So I've got him on top. Second, I've got Chang Cheng Glory. I thought he presented nicely. Now, he's likely to go forward. I'm not sure that he's quite good enough, but he looks so relaxed. He's walking out really freely. Couldn't fault him. I thought next best was the 12, the Japanese horse in Jantar Manta. He's quite a nice individual. And of the rest, well, probably Soul Rush. I was thinking about Ramadan. Nothing wrong with him either, but Soul Rush I quite like on form. He was a little bit on his toes here and there, but he looks really healthy and strong. So I've gone 13, 10, 12 and 1.
Thank you, Jenny. Upstairs to you, Mark, for your thoughts here on the third of our Group 1s today.
With the 2, Tom Voyage Bubble without Golden 60 in the race. He's two runs back this time in have been so good. for second without luck in the HKIR SHA 10 trophy, and then he beat them on their merits in the Jockey Club Mile. He's a Group 1 Stewards Cup winner over the distance. He's won 4 from 10 over the 1600. Soul Rush for Japan goes in for second. Group 1 Mile Championship winner last time. Fuji Stakes Group 2 placed at 2 runs ago. He's just got group form right throughout all of his starts, and he's been competitive in all of them. Going to give the Australian a chance here, and Tino, if he jumps. Second in the Champions Mile last time at Flemington behind Mr. Brightside. Group 1 Toorak Handicap winner 2 starts ago by a big space. Crafty man on board 2 in Blake Shen. And number 12, Genta Manta in for 4th, Paul, and you're going to make an even stronger case for the Japanese runner.
Yeah, look, he's only had 6 starts. He's a 2-time Group 1 winner in Japan. He's come out here and he seems to have settled in really nice. He hasn't run for a while. That's the only query, 6 months or so. But in saying that, he's looked good in his track work, and I think he's a really good bet at 10 and 3.1 Japanese horse. So I've got him on top to beat the favourite, Voyage Bubble. He's the best of the locals, I think. The 13, Lazat's going to be right on the pace, and he's another one that's only been beaten once in his whole career. And then the 6, Galaxy Patch. Hopefully he's settled down a little bit there out the back. But do like the 10. The 12, Genta Manta at the price, 10 and 3.1. So 12, 2, 13 and 6 for me.
Yeah, I'm with the Soul Rush here. I didn't find much between him and also with Genta Manta, but his win in the Mile Championship I thought was very solid coming into this. A lot of respect for Voyage Bubble, who is the favourite at 2.7, so the money continues to come for him, and also with that horse there on screen. But he got pretty wound up in the yard, did Galaxy Patch. He looks happier out there now. So 1, 12, 2 and 6. A recap of Nick Child's numbers: 13, 12, 2 and 6. Jenny Ann from the paddock.
Yeah, 13 on top for me as well. Lazat, I thought he paraded beautifully. The 10 goes in. That is Chang Cheng Glory, one for the local team. I thought number 12 paraded well. Genta Manta, I quite like him. He's a young horse. There should be more upside to him. Everyone's been talking him up this week. And number 1, Soul Rush. He was a little bit on his toes here and there. Very strong-bodied horse coming in with really good form. There he is on screen. He looks terrific. So 13, 10, 12 and 1. Nick, who do you fancy?
I like Soul Rush here. I thought he was the most solid option. I think he's a better horse than he was when he came here 12 months ago. More mature, and you can see why. Lovely, big, robust, beautiful-looking horse. He looks on great terms with himself. He just has to run well. There are others, I think, who've got potential to be better still, but they're either at an early stage of their career, in the form of Lazat, and he's had a busy season, or they've got little question marks. Galaxy Patch has to defy Gate 14, and I know Golden 60 did it last year, and Vince has described this horse as the heir apparent, but he'll need to be.
Oh, he will need to be, certainly, Jenny. And today he's put on a little bit of weight, but got really stirred up here. He was the one that was taking his Marfoos for a walk. Yeah,
well, not the first time I've seen it either, Tom. So that's the thing about this horse, whether or not, you know, he's obviously not an easy horse to handle. Very angular. You've got to look at him there. Is that the first time you've seen him?
Yeah, first time I've seen him in the flesh, and I was really interested to hear what you were saying. It seems as though he ought to be a better horse next year, because he just hasn't filled the frame. Maybe he never will, but he hasn't yet.
Yeah, I wonder whether he will. Look, he looks great in his coat, I've got to say. And because he never carries much excess condition, and the shape of him, he never looks like he's carrying weight. So he gave us so much excitement in the early part of his career. We were hoping he'd go to that next level. So I'm really interested to see what we get from him today.
Antino's on an international rating of 118. Can you see him figuring here at all, Nick? I know he brings some sound enough form in this, but I'm not totally convinced here today about him. You might know your fate after a stride or two, mightn't you? Because if he gets too far back, then he'll struggle. I think this is such a contentious race that he's not going to want to give himself too much traffic to get through. It'll be very interesting to see how he does get on if he's able to run his race with a pointer to Mr. Brightside coming here in April, potentially. A horse he was just behind at Flemington last time. Yeah, exactly. Paul, you're all over the pace influences here. Surely they can't go forward with Beauty Eternal in this race with a few other options in it as well.
Well, look, he'd raced best when he does go forward, Beauty Eternal. I think Lazat looks like the main placemaker, and that's where all the money's coming at, 15 and 4.3. He tried to lead all the way over 1,500 in the Golden Eagle, and he steps up to 1,600. The other one is obviously Chang Cheng Glory. Voyage Bubbles never throw away. Red Lion's drawn wide. He goes forward. He might be trapped a little bit wide. But, Beauty Eternal, they've got options, but everyone thought he was going to go back when he won his big race, and he did go forward and lead. It's just Lazat's in the race to make it harder for him.
Voyage Bubble, Nicky, went to Japan, Yasuda Kenin. Things didn't go right there. Wide draw, everything. You were in Dubai when he was over there in the race on the turf there. He was lucky not to get put over the fence that night.
I fancied him like mad in Dubai, and he was desperately unlucky. And he might not quite have got the distance either, but this should suit him. And I'm just mindful of Jenny's comments a few moments ago that he doesn't really look great.
His coat, well, look, body-wise he's okay, but his coat's just gone off a little bit at the moment, so I'm not sure if that's going to make a big difference to his actual performance. Another one I wanted to ask you about, though, Nick, was Ramadan, because I nearly put him in. I'm wondering whether I should have, because he actually looked really good.
Changed hands for €1.5 million. Going to stay here, as Tom was saying, with Mark Noonan, bought by Mr. Zhang Yulong Farms. They've been so acquisitive across the globe in recent weeks. Big money spent at the sales in Newmarket last week as well. Ramadan's a horse who's got some good solid group race form in France, including form that ties in with one or two of these, but you would have thought the ground would be a little lively for him.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really interested in him as a prospect for Hong Kong, because they clearly think he'll go well here.
Yeah, look, he really hasn't tried it, has he?
No.
And so who knows, he might even be better, but he's 55-1, so just a little bit of interest on him.
Dockland's coming into this, of course. He's got great form. Via Sistina, City of Troy, Sharon as well.
Yeah.
If I told you at the start of the day you were going to get 94 to 1 about Docklands.
It is insane, because you've got the other angle, which is, could blinkers ginger him up to the extent the connections want to? Because you'd think really at a mile he wants them to go very hard, but he hasn't been getting home over a mile and a quarter in Australia, and maybe drop back in trip with the blinkers on. That's going to bring about the sort of Docklands that we saw running up behind Sharon and the Queen Anne. And that's form that ought to be good enough to see him competing on the international stage.
And he needs to break cleanly as well, because that's what he didn't do at Flemington last start. Of course, Docklands. Trackside play, Paul?
Yeah, around the 2, 12 and 13. So Voyage Bubble, the favourite with Genta Manta, and the one all the money's coming for Lazat. He's now into 11s, Lazat. He's back with every single runner through Quinella places, and most of them have halved in price as well.
Are you surprised, Jenny, that the favourites are short as did here in a race that's not clear, cut and dry by any stretch?
Look, I'm not. There's a lot of local money that would be on him, and he is a very good horse when he's 100% right, so I'm not surprised.
He's at 2.6 currently in the world, Paul, as runners continue to load away. There's a lot of money coming for number 13, and that, of course, is Lazat. He's now gone brown on a win and place line at 10-1 and at 3s for a place. This is the third of the Group 1s here at Sha Tin on HKIR 2024, part of the Turf World Championships, and Mark McNamara is your man to call them home.
Thank you, Tom. We wait for Ching Ching Glory to come forward, and he will be the last. They'll be ready for the mile. A race that Hong Kong has had such great record in recent times. There's green on the board everywhere, but they're ready. Who's this year's King of the Mile? We'll know soon, because they're racing. Lazat missed it by a length, Entino missed it by 1, and Galaxy Patch is going to drag straight back to last from 14. At the other end, it's Voyage Bubble, Beauty Eternal and Genta Manta between them. Red Lion fourth, Lazat's a little bit wider, and then came Cheng Cheng Glory from Happy Together. Soul Rush is following Lazat from Antino. Then came Ramadan and Docklands. There's a line of 4 there. A length and a half to Taj Dragon, Beauty Joy and Galaxy Patch. Voyage Bubble, as Beauty Eternal 3 wide, looks to go right on with it as they reach the 1,000-metre mark, and Beauty Eternal takes it up. Genta Manta third, Cheng Cheng Glory is fourth, and fifth is Happy Together. 3 wide Red Lion from Docklands, Lazat 3 wide following Red Lion. Then came Ramadan. Next is Taj Dragon from Antino, Soul Rush, Galaxy Patch, and a length away last of all is Beauty Joy. Beauty Eternal the leader though, half a length over Voyage Bubble. Genta Manta's doing it tough, 3 wide, and Cheng Cheng Glory's had a good trip. He's now fourth on the rail from Happy Together. Red Lion, Lazat, Docklands, Taj Dragon and Antino. Beauty Eternal, Voyage Bubble square off in the lead. 3 lengths to Cheng Cheng Glory. Then came Red Lion, Happy Together and Soul Rush. Voyage Bubble is the leader. He's gone clear of Beauty Eternal. 2 lengths then to Soul Rush. Cheng Cheng Glory. It's Voyage Bubble the leader. He's 3 in front over Beauty Eternal, Soul Rush and Beauty Joy. Voyage Bubble's going to see it out, and he's going to be the King of the Mile. Voyage Bubble has beaten Soul Rush, Beauty Joy, Cheng Cheng Glory, Galaxy Patch. Then came Happy Together, Red Lion, Lazat, Beauty Eternal, Taj Dragon, Docklands, Antino, Genta Manta, and last in Ramadan. Voyage Bubble, James McDonald and Ricky Yu at 2.6 and 1.3. Could be a very big 45 minutes for J-Mac. There's one done. Romantic Warrior. He's next. Mind you, this will be the biggest presentation of the day, possibly of the year in the world. This horse has 3 million owners and counting. Voyage Bubble beats Soul Rush, Joe Moreira second at 1.6, and Beauty Joy number 5. Brenton Avdulla at 15 for third in front of Ching Ching Glory, and Beauty Eternal kept on. Galaxy Patch flew home. He began well. He was always on the pace. And without a horse like Golden 60 now, he can truly shine at 1,600 metres. And Ricky Yu has just won his 8th race with Voyage Bubble. James McDonald has nursed him home. They were coming. Soul Rush from a mile back. He's run him to a length. They've gone 1:33.34. It's about half a second inside standard. Beauty Joy has made up many, many lengths, and then there is a line of them. It's a rather nonchalant-looking team there, but here's Nick with James McDonald.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mark. Yeah, James McDonald with a beaming smile on his face, and rightly so. That's a nice way to set up the Cup, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. He's a great horse in his own right. And, geez, he felt excellent going to the gates today. He was really on the job, and credit to Ricky and his team. They've prepped him up beautifully.
And as you say, in his own right, this is a proper Group 1 horse, isn't he?
Oh, mate, he's a fair dinkum one, and that's a very Aussie slang, isn't it? But he just gives us all, you know, and very big heart. He's very uncomplicated. He puts himself in the race, which it's great for Hong Kong. They're dominating. Let's go. One more.
Indeed. Well, you've got plenty of owners to go and see as well. Enjoy it, James.
Cheers.
Great to hear there from James McDonald. Voyage Bubble is now a 2-time Group 1 winner here in Hong Kong. The 2024 Stewards Cup and now the 2024 Hong Kong Mile.
She is King of the Mile. We'll know soon because they're racing. Lazat missed it by a length, Antino missed it by 1, and Galaxy Patch is going to drag straight back to last from 14. At the other end, it's Voyage Bubble, Beauty Eternal and Gentar Mantar between them. Red Lion fourth, Lazat's a little bit wider, and then came Cheng Cheng Glory from Happy Together. Soul Rush is following Lazat from Antino. Then came Ramadan and Docklands. There's a line of 4 there. A length and a half to Taj Dragon, Beauty Joy and Galaxy Patch. Voyage Bubble as Beauty Eternal 3 wide looks to go right on with it as they reach the 1,000-metre mark, and Beauty Eternal takes it up. Gentar Mantar third, Cheng Cheng Glory is 4th, and 5th is Happy Together. 3 wide Red Lion from Docklands, Lazat 3 wide following Red Lion. Then came Ramadan. Next is Taj Dragon from Antino, Soul Rush, Galaxy Patch, and a length away last of all is Beauty Joy. Beauty Eternal the leader though, half a length over Voyage Bubble. Gentar Mantar's doing it tough, 3 wide, and Cheng Cheng Glory's had a good trip. He's now 4th on the rail from Happy Together. Red Lion, Lazat, Docklands, Taj Dragon and Antino. Beauty Eternal, Voyage Bubble square off in the lead. 3 lengths to Cheng Cheng Glory. Then came Red Lion, Happy Together and Soul Rush. Voyage Bubble is the leader. He's gone clear of Beauty Eternal. 2 lengths then to Soul Rush. Cheng Cheng Glory. It's Voyage Bubble the leader. He's 3 in front over Beauty Eternal, Soul Rush and Beauty Joy. Voyage Bubble's going to see it out, and he's going to be the King of the Mile. Voyage Bubble.
2:15 and 10, the numbers 1:33.34, a length and a quarter by half a length there, Paul, with the market confidence around the favourite very strong. He's prevailed for J-Mac and Ricky Yu.
Yeah, great ride there for James McDonald. Got the horse in a lovely position just behind the pace there, and the horse did the rest and won really nicely. Soul Rush, he got well back. It was a good run from him from barrier 10. He finished off nicely as well. And Beauty Joy can pop up at sort of big prices. He's over 15 a place when we read out the dividend shortly. He was over 100 to 1, Beauty Joy, so he definitely outran his odds there, finishing off really nicely into 3rd position. As we see James McDonald weigh in, we'll get those dividends for you. 26 and 13, 16 about Soul Rush, 154.50 Beauty Joy. Vanilla 1 and 2, 61. Forecast 2 and 1, 120. Trio 125, 1300. Test 215, 3,992. And another win for Hong Kong.
Yeah, well done to Ricky Yu and the team there. Fantastic effort. And James McDonald, well, he's got a big one coming up in the next as well with Romantic Warrior. But this horse has been fantastic for his connections, Voyage Bubble. That brings up his 8th win here, and he's a Derby winner. He's been taken forward, he's been taken back. He jumped beautifully here today, Nick. So fantastic performance from James as well as the horse.
Tactical versatility in the horse and tactical mastery from the rider. There was a lovely piece, the World Horse Racing film with Sheen Murphy earlier in the week, where he was asked to list the key strengths of all the best riders in the world. He said Ryan Moore was the strongest and so on, and he was asked who was the best tactician, and without hesitation he said James McDonald. We've seen it so many times. He's a wonderful judge of speed, but he had the horse here with the tools to be able to get him in the right slot, which was more than could be said for Soul Rush, who finished off from a pretty unpromising position. And you're spot on, he is such a talented horse, Soul Rush. He's got to be winning more Group and Grade 1s.
I would think so, yeah. Look, he's done it really well today. He was a bit wide in the early stages, taken well back, had to make up that ground wide on the turn, finished off so strongly. It was a superb effort from him too. But, a good winning margin by the winner as well, 1 1/4 lengths.
These Japanese horses, they're running out of time for 2024, the calendar year. 57, I think, coming into today's meeting. They've competed in Group 1 races around the world. They've not won one yet. They've got one more opportunity
and
left.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Because they'd had such a good time of it between sort of 2019 and 2023. Virtually every single one in all these big races this year has been massively overbet. So the fingers have been burned from here to California as regards the Japanese international horses this season. But, as you say, they've got strong representation in the Cup.
Yep, Tastiera and, of course, Liberty Island there. Paul, your hope in the race, Jantar Manda 3 wide, no cover up on the pace, and then got knocked over in the straight too.
Yeah, exactly. So look, a complete, and he hadn't run for a while, so they're obviously told, I think, so a bit of a forgive for that. But I think keep an eye on him. Hopefully he'll come back next year as an older horse and have a really good season in Japan. So look, he's definitely one for the future.
Horrible watch for Lazat fans in that race.
Oh yeah, I think he raced as though he'd had enough for the year. To me, he was just a little keen, a bit rank. He had no cover, and he was always setting himself against Christian Demuro. Don't forget the first time Demuro had ridden him. He's a great jockey, but sometimes horses take a little bit of knowing. He's done amazingly well to win a Group 1 so young, go to Australia, run such a big race in the Golden Eagle, come here, regroup, come back next year. And Docklands actually slid around the inside quite nicely in the blinkers, but he got no run up the straight.
And that sort of race for Lazat at Rose Hill in the Golden Eagle, Jenny, and it was a tough run. It could have just bottomed him out. He's travelled here. It's been a big ask.
Well, he is only a 3-year-old. I mean, he's about to turn 4, but for a 3-year-old, it's a big ask, that travelling, and as you say, it was a really tough run last time. He hasn't disgraced by any means. But, yes, I think next year we'll see the very best of him.
We haven't talked about Chang Cheng Glory yet. Barrier number 1. He's just an iron horse. Jenny runs in the big races here in Hong Kong. Not quite at that sort of top echelon, but he's always very, very consistent. Karras gave him a lovely spin around. Yeah,
he certainly did. Well, he drew gate 1, so he got a really cushy run, didn't he? I'm not sure whether or not he got the breaks when he needed them, but we'll have a look at that on the replay. But he's finished very honest, another honest performance from him. That's what he is.
What about the Quox horses, the beauties? Joy and Eternal. I mean, 2 splendid animals, 14 years between them. They turn up every time and give it a go every time.
Beauty Joy. Look, there's nothing of him, and he's always had that really light mouth. He's been a very difficult horse in the past. He's got a bit better as he's got older, but he continues to pick up good prize money checks. He's just a real workhorse.
One we haven't spoken about, Galaxy Patch, had to go all the way back from that draw, was sort of about 3rd last. I want to see the replay again. I wonder if he was just slightly held up on the turn, and then he had to sort of was wanting to lay in a little bit halfway down. He still finished off, but barrier 14 had him beaten today.
Problem is, he was running over a mile today, but he'd run a mile and a half in the paddock beforehand, so that might not have helped.
No. But James McDonald, what do we say, Jenny, about the crowned Longines world's best jockey Friday night at the gala function here in Hong Kong? Another Group 1 race for James.
Well, James is a fantastic person. I mean, he loves his horses. He's totally in love with Romantic Warrior and Caitlin, of course. But he is just obviously looking forward to getting on this horse once again. He means so much to him. And he loves his horse too. But, Romantic Warrior, this is the one where the nerves will be felt, I feel.
He's one of those guys, Nick, that everyone's always quick to credit James McDonald, rightly so. But James is always the first one to credit the horse.
And it was very interesting after the gala on Friday night in the press briefing. He was talking about the moments in his career where there had been you know, a deal of self-doubt, which you'd never have expected given the composure with which he rides, but how he'd really come through that, and actually how Romantic Warrior was the horse that helped him through that, because it gave him the belief he could pretty much do anything. And then you see him riding during the Cup Carnival where he rode 11 winners, and you're thinking, how on earth did he win on at least 3 or 4 of those? And he thought he should have won on 5 more, Jenny.
Exactly. I mean, he is a fantastic jockey, no doubt about it. He's just continued to improve.
And also our trainer. 我哋再次有請我哋嘅勝出練馬師姚本輝先生。And of course our winning jockey， 同埋我哋勝出騎師麥道朗嘅 James McDonald。Another one to add to his collection. Let's look to the front for a photo. Congratulations once again to all winning parties. Thank you so much, Mr. Brescian and Chairman. I'd like to invite all our guests to remain where you are for a group photo. 我哋有請各位留一留步，望一望我哋前方，我哋嘅傳媒朋友同埋我哋嘅大會攝影師 right at the front for this wonderful group photo on this very momentous occasion. Huge congratulations! Please remain where you are. Now I'd like to invite everyone to remain standing and remove your hats for the national anthem of the winning country, China. 跟住落嚟，我哋有請香港警察樂隊為我哋演奏勝出頭馬所代表國家中國嘅國歌。有請各位起立並隨舞。現在奏國歌。Thank you very much. Congratulations once again to Voyage Bubble. 多謝晒咁多位。Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the presentation. Today's featured race, Longines Hong Kong Cup, will start shortly. Don't miss it. And see you at the trophy presentation later. 浪琴香港一哩錦標嘅頒獎儀式已經係圓滿結束，而全日嘅焦點賽事浪琴香港杯即將舉行，大家千祈唔好錯過。
Ricky Yu, James McDonald for the Longines Hong Kong Mile with Voyage Bubble holding off the late challenge of Soul Rush down the outside from back in the pack. A two-time Group 1 winner now is Voyage Bubble, a Derby winner as well, and J-Mac with the big ride on Romantic Warrior in the Hong Kong Cup coming up next here at Sha. And a huge Gaggle of connections from the Sunshine and Moonlight Syndicate. They've had a lot of fun with this horse. They've got some nice horses that race in their colours. And here we go, we can see Jockey Cam with Zach Purton in the bottom corner as well with the Beauty Eternal, who goes forward here. You can see Galaxy Patch towards the back shortly after, Nick.
Yeah, Galaxy Patch just had to take his medicine, Vincent, right from the outset. The other point to note is that the horse we thought might make the running here, the pink colours on the inside, just broke a step slowly.
Chang Glory.
Yeah.
We've got an objection coming through as well. That is a very late objection that's just come through on the semaphore board here at Sha Tin from the stewards. So there is an inquiry. We can't tell you what it is at this point yet, but that has just popped up on the screen now. We'll see what we can pick up in the patrol here. But Beauty Eternal's gone forward. Voyage Bubble, Jantar Manda shortly to be left, 3 wide, no cover. Red Line's out about 4 wide around right there as well. You've got Happy Together, Chang Glory, Docklands. Lazat's had a real tough run. He's around Ramadan.
Interesting, wasn't it, that James McDonald didn't want any piece of the fence?
No.
He could have had it because Chang Glory was further back than we thought. He obviously didn't think that Beauty Eternal was the right horse to take him far enough into the race, Jenny.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the horse hasn't actually been racing that well, but he's stuck on reasonably well today. He's only just missed one of the minor placings there. But as they go into the straight, you can see that Voyage Bubble is just travelling along beautifully here. Beauty Eternal's putting up a little bit of fight. Here's a little bit of interference here on the outside with Soul Rush, and the horse on his inside.
And there was some more interference there with Happy Together in that early part as well. You can see Antino getting a little bit of a squeeze up there as well. Galaxy Patch was all involved in that sort of interference towards the outside as well. Voyage Bubble going straight and true. Chang Glory poking through late. Soul Rush, Beauty Joy staying on. Ramadan's finished well back, but we have an objection here. The numbers provisionally at 2, 1, 5 and 10. We're waiting for some further news to come through, so it's 8 versus 10. 8 versus 10 here, so that's Happy Together and Chang Glory we are hearing through, and it's come up graphically there on screen now. So